Okay, so before I get it cleaned up, here's what we're working with. And these leather seats can be pretty hard to come by in my area, so I went ahead and grabbed them when I finally found a pair. Obviously these are just the rears, and you can tell that for whatever reason, like people always do, they pull up these edges while it's in the car and they twist them and they get them all bent up. So this one's pretty much bent up like a pretzel. I've straightened it a little bit just to see if I could get it straightened out. It's probably kind of hard to tell on the video, but they're nice and filthy, and they should clean up pretty good. There's no tears or anything like that in them. So I don't know if maybe what I might end up doing is just taking this cover off and putting it on my cushion or not, if I can't get this straightened out a little better to get these creases out of the seat, because that's and they don't really have the form that mine do, and I don't think that's just because they're leather. I think it's just because they're all bent up, but you can see they're pretty nasty. But I think they'll clean up just fine for 35 bucks. Probably can't go too wrong. So yeah, they're kind of gross right now. Not too terribly bad, but no holes or tears or nothing, so we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I've got the seat back cleaned off pretty good here. And basically I just used some glass cleaner and then hit it up with some Armor All afterwards, and it cleaned up really nice. It looks really good. So basically now I'm just going to vacuum this carpet off and clean the frame off a little better. But I just had to show you something hilarious. And man, don't do this. Oh, it looks like we have something loose here though. It needs a little attention. So I'm gonna have to look at that. That's not good. But check this out. They apparently had a stereo system installed in this with an amplifier for probably some subs or something. Look where they grounded the amplifier. They grounded it right there onto the seat mount. That don't install your ground right there, guys. That is a terrible spot for a ground. That is absolutely poor, piss poor connection. So here's where this bracket mounts to the car. One bolt right here and one bolt over there on the other side in the same spot. But look, that's got paint all over it. Paint, and then one down here which has got paint and a little corrosion on it. And then one over there. There's only 4 bolts that hold this bracket into the car. And I don't know why they thought that would be a good spot. I mean, obviously it was the easiest spot they could find to put a ground, but that's terrible. And you can just imagine their subwoofer was not getting the power it needed through a ground like that. It's terrible. But anyway, I'm gonna take a look at what's going on here, why this seat is loose. Hopefully that's nothing major. Get this vacuumed off. But other than that, it looks pretty nice. This top piece is broken, but I can just switch that over from my other seat, I'm pretty sure, if I feel the need to do so, which I probably will, because I want this all to be in good condition. I mean, I could probably get by with leaving whatever is going on here alone, but I don't want to. I want to see what's going on there, so I'm going to check that out. And over there is the bottom piece, and I'll show you what I did to clean the top piece to make it look like that. because it pretty much looked like this as well. I don't know how this lighting is really reflective off this air quotes leather, but you can see I still got those lines in the seat there from where the frame is twisted. People like to look, I guess they're looking for change, and they just demolish the seats, which is why these are also hard to come by. So you're lucky to find leather ones, much less ones that haven't been, you know, pillaged and bent and just destroyed. You know, looking for a quarter or something, I guess is what they're looking for. But they'd ruin a perfectly good seat looking for 50 cents under the seat, which is kind of bad news. But anyway, let's get this one cleaned up too. So luckily this was a quick, easy fix as far as the pivot on this side of the seat. And all it was is this has just got a rod, and the seat is on a bushing that slips on there. I know that you can't see that at all, but anyway, I just had to push the seat. I just had to push the seat over and then get it back onto the bushing, and now it's perfectly fine. So it just had been pushed over at some point and off of the rod. There's a rod here, and then there's a bushing in the side of the seat. I won't even get too descriptive there, but you know where I'm going with that. So I just had to push the seat over far enough to get it back onto the bushing, and that's all that was wrong with that. So that's all good now, and we'll get over there. That dirty, grimy, boy, just look at the banana action, just devastated. But we'll get over there and clean that one up and see if I can bend it back into shape a little bit or not. I really don't want to go through the trouble of taking that cover off and putting it on my cushion, but if I have to, I will, because I don't want just disgusting, you know, stupid looking bent up stuff in my back seat. That's kind of defeating the purpose, because I want it to look nice. I mean, I want the leather, but I don't want it at the cost of a bent up looking seat. So see what I can do. Alright, so before I do anything else with this seat bottom, I will go ahead and clean all the crap off of it here. It does have one small blemish here, but my seat back has a large cigarette burn in it somehow in a weird spot. But basically all I'm going to do is use some glass cleaner, which is probably not the recommended thing to use. You probably just want to use some warm soapy water would probably be the best thing to use. But this is quick and easy, and I'm being lazy, and this will be fine. So anyway, just using some glass cleaner, which in this case supposedly has no ammonia in it, but that's whatever. So we'll just clean this off with some glass cleaner first. Before I do anything, I don't really need to be putting my hands all over this just because it's kind of gross. And it is a real shame that people just go and in the sheets. You know, they probably pay a couple bucks to get into the salvage yard. You got to pay $2 to get in there, and then they go around just pillaging for what they can get. They're probably the same people that take all the emblems off the car and stick them in their pockets, and look in the glove boxes and behind the glove boxes and see what they can find. Look under the seats for some change and just devastate which would otherwise be excellent seats. I mean, really, these would be a great buy for someone like myself. You couldn't see the scratch before. There's a little bit of a scratch in it right here. You probably can't see because I'm probably blocking the light, and I got a terrible angle. You can probably see how gross the underside is. That's not the best, but for 35 bucks, I'm willing to deal with a little bit of this nonsense. I mean, really, these are in great shape, except for that one little blemish there, and the fact that it's bent, but I think I can bend it back, mostly. And like I said, if worse comes to worse, I will, I'll go through the effort of taking this off and putting it onto my cushion so that it's straight and it looks good. Because I don't want it, I mean, sure, it'll be leather, but if it looks like crap, then it kind of defeats the purpose. So pretty much that's it. I'm just going to wipe this off real good. And then afterwards, I will use good old Armor All. Put some moisture back into it since I have just taken a lot of it out. And the fact that this was slightly weathered. I think one window was down and one window was up. I mean, obviously, if you're looking to get interior parts, it's best to get them off cars that have both the windows up. But a lot of times, people leave doors wide open. They get what they want, and then they don't think about other people, which that shouldn't surprise you too much. I mean, people pretty much think about themselves, so. But, you know, when I get stuff, I try not to tear everything up and break stuff. The salvage yard loses money that way. And then you break stuff that's usable to other people. So that's kind of ignorant. So, yeah. So I'll hit that with some Armor All, and I'll show you that next. And maybe I can bend it back into shape, and we'll see about putting it in the car. I'll show you what the back seat looks like before I swap it out. I mean, really, the interior is in really good shape in that car. I just would prefer leather. But like I said, there is a cigarette burn in the back seat, so I'm not too cool with that. So, yeah, I will grab some Armor All and we'll clean that off a little bit better. Okay, and now I'll hit this up with some Armor All here. And after this, I guess I should probably try and bend it back before I use Armor All and make it nice and slippery, but it won't be too slippery. I just want to get some moisture back into this thing. And after I do this here, break out the vacuum and vacuum the sides. There's carpeting on the sides and carpeting on the back of the seat backs, and those need to be vacuumed off, so I'll do that. And then I'll see if I can get this bent back into shape good enough to put into the car. But even if it's not absolutely perfect for now, the big plan is to, I mean, the car did have, well, it didn't really have them in there. It was weird. I guess somebody just wanted the dashboard out of the car, because the dashboard, well, the dashboard and the door panels was gone. The front seats were taken out of the car, but they were still in the car. They weren't bolted in, which obviously were leather front seats as well. And they had a small amount of damage to the left, what do you call that? Not the lumbar area, but anyway, you know, the normal wear spot had a little bit of a hole there. I don't know if they unbolted them and decided not to take them or whatever the case was, but the front seats were there. But hopefully, and if I've been a good boy this year, I'm hoping that I got front seats for Christmas, which are of the leather. If I dropped enough hints, I know that my wife is not a big fan of the stock Mustang seats because the headrest is basically useless, and she doesn't like her head whipping around when you shift through the gears. So I'm hoping that maybe she may have possibly gotten me front leather racing seats, but I'm not too sure. And even if she didn't, the plan was to do this anyway, so I'm already halfway there by doing this. So there you go. Alright, so you probably couldn't even see any of what I was doing. I know the camera's pointing down here, but basically just trying to work some of this armor all into here because these are pretty dried up, but not dried up to the point of cracking or anything by any means. So yeah, you can see that looks much better. So they're nice and clean now, and so you can see that little blemish there now that I'm holding the camera up, which also looks like a burn, but the leather is a little more resilient, so it's not burnt all the way through, and it's not a big gaping hole like the one in my car. Excuse me. So there you go. That honestly, the material looks great. I'm happy with that. That looks good. And when I was at the salvage yard, it was kind of hard to tell. I didn't really have anything to wipe it off with. I wiped it off a little bit with some fabric that was laying around inside the car, and it looked like it would clean up fine. So, and yeah, it looks excellent. So like I said, if worst comes to worst and I have to take this off here and put it onto my cushion, because my cushion has much more definition in these areas with the center part than this one does. This one is pretty flat, but like I said, it's mainly because somebody bent it all up trying to look under the corner of the seat, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, I won't ramble on anymore. Let me show you the inside of what we got already, and we'll go from there. So here's the state of the interior of the car, which I will admit is a little bit dirty at this time. You can see the debris on the floor mat there. But anyway, you can see we got cloth interior and all black. Maybe I should proportionalize the light a little bit. It's got the all black interior. That cheap ass eBay short throw shifter, which I gotta say is still doing just fine. So if that's something that anyone ever wanted to talk about, you could let me know down in the comments. But that's a super cheap short throw shifter. It's like 25 bucks or something. It's been doing fine. So anyway, the interior is not in terrible shape. I just would rather have leather interior. And like I said, one of the big drawbacks is these headrests are just terrible. I mean, you lift it up, and any average adult sitting in the front seat, their head is not against or going to hit this headrest with any kind of jacking of the gears, if you know what I mean, or anything like that. But so back here in the back, like most of you could, so here's my guy that I have in position. He covers the cigarette burn, which is right there in the seat. Like I said, it's kind of in a weird spot, and there's a serious shadow. So let me go ahead and move this light, and you can get a look back here. So yeah, I mean, it's not in bad condition at all, minus that cigarette burn, which looks terrible. So there is some dog hair from when I picked my dog up from the dog resort, but it looks nice. There's a big gap in that back deck part, and I don't know why that's like that. It's sitting in the proper position, so I don't know what is really going on there. But yeah, that looks jacked up. But anyway, so there's what we have. Got like the gray and light gray. I don't even know what you call that interior, but you can see how much more definition there is in the center portion of the seat there compared to maybe you can't tell. I don't know. You can see it's a lot different, but I mean this thing is totally tweaked. So, but anyway, that's what the rear looks like now, and I just wanted to show that before I start taking it apart and put this leather stuff in. And like I said, hopefully I'll have some different front seats to put in here, and mainly, like I said, they're just lumbar wise is good because the driver one is power and it has lumbar support that you can activate. Passenger side is obviously all fully manual, but the bolsters is a big part of the problem on these. There's the side bolsters are just mostly non-existent. So adding some different seats would A, look better, B, have better support, have a headrest for non-whiplash situations, and also better bolster. So that's the big plan. I'm not really too concerned about losing power adjustment on my seat as long as it moves back and forth and tilts and stuff. I don't care about up and down and different things like that, so that'll be fine. So yeah, that's where that's at. So it'll be somewhat of a before and after, maybe. That's what it looks like now. And now looking at it, the well, I don't know how that's going to work out. It looks a lot more charcoal now. Excuse me. And if you look over at the I never really noticed it too much before, and it hasn't bothered me, but I replaced the door handle area there where the window switch is and the lock is, and obviously that looks black, which I haven't really noticed too much before. Obviously this is a charcoal interior, but it does have black accents, like the dash bezel is black, and the vents and different things, so it doesn't look too bad to have excuse me, the black handles and stuff there. This is probably going to look a lot different once I put, which is obviously black leather in here with the charcoal interior. I think it'll still look fine though, hopefully. Never really paid a whole lot of attention to that, but I think it's going to be okay. Anyway, that's what it looks like beforehand. Okay, so I didn't bother trying to record since it's a little cramped in there and showing me install it or nothing. I mean, it's basically just 4 bolts holding the back seat in, or the back of the back seat in, and then just the 2 little push tabs and pull up that hold the bottom in. So I mean, but anyway, that's what it looks like in there. And I was able to get the bottom pretty much bent back into its natural form. It's still got a crease in it there, which hopefully once it relaxes, that stuff will flatten back out a little bit. But yeah, it didn't turn out too bad. It looks a lot better than the cloth does, in my opinion. So pretty much halfway there. Once I can do something with these front seats, I'll be a lot happier with the interior. If you get the all leather interior, it'd be much better, in my opinion. So there you have it. Hopefully maybe not the next video, but sometime soon I will get these front seats changed out. So yeah, there's what it looks like. Alright, so thanks for checking out this video. If you liked it, give it the old thumbs up and maybe subscribe. And have more videos coming about the Mustang there. And actually the next thing I might do, if I can make it work out, is I have these hydraulic lifts here that I got. And I may reconfigure them, or I I'm not too sure what exactly, but I got these for really cheap, and the hood lifts for the kits are pretty expensive, so I don't know if these are man enough to do it or not, but I may try to incorporate these to use them as hood lifts, and they may be just fine. They are pretty rigid, so it may be a possibility. So if I do something with that, that might be something you want to check out. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. See you next time.